Welcome to IELTS 20 Test 2 Passage 2, Procrastination. Today we will explore the psychological reasons behind procrastination and how to break this habit. This passage has 13 questions. There are 3 types: information location, summary completion, and multiple choice. We divide the questions into 2 categories: keyword location and logic comparison. Understanding question types helps you find answers faster and improve your score. The article has 6 paragraphs, A to F. It first defines procrastination, then analyzes causes and effects, and finally gives advice. From passage 1 to 3, definition, causes, and typical people who procrastinate. From passage 4 to 5, effects of procrastination on work and health. From passage 6, advice on breaking the procrastination cycle. The heat map shows most questions are in paragraphs B, C, D, and E, especially B and D. Let's look at question 14. It asks you to find which paragraph mentions false assumptions about why people procrastinate. Extract keywords, false assumptions, reasons for procrastination. Paragraph B starts with contrary to popular belief, directly introducing false assumptions. So the answer to question 14 is B. Let's look at question 15. For question 15, we need to find which paragraph mentions the idea of realizing that other people also procrastinate. Please pause the video and try to locate it yourself first. The key words in the question are others also procrastinate. We need to find a sentence that expresses the idea of not the first, nor the last. Scanning the whole passage, in paragraph F we find the key sentence: we should remind ourselves that we're not the first person to procrastinate, nor the last. This perfectly matches the question. So the answer to question 15 is F. Let's look at question 16. For question 16, we need to find which paragraph provides neurological evidence of a link between procrastination and emotion. Please pause the video and try to locate it yourself. The key words in the question are neurological evidence and brain imaging research. We need to look for these specific scientific proofs in the passage. Scanning the passage, paragraph B clearly mentions research involving brain imaging and points out differences in brain areas of chronic procrastinators. This directly matches the neurological evidence in the question. So the answer to question 16 is B. Next, let's move on to the completion section for Q17-22. Let's look at question 17. The statement says, contrary to popular belief, procrastination is not due to laziness or poor time management. The blank is after result of, so we need a noun. The blank is after result of, so it needs a noun or noun phrase. The statement says not due to laziness, suggesting many people think it is a result of laziness. So the answer is likely a word meaning laziness. Let's locate paragraph B. The article starts by saying, contrary to popular belief, procrastination is not due to laziness or poor time management. The word laziness appears directly here. The original text says, not due to laziness, which matches the statement, not due to laziness. Notice that the word laziness is directly given in the original text, no synonym replacement needed. So the answer to question 17 is laziness. Let's look at question 18. The summary says if thinking about a task threatens our self-worth or makes us feel ______________, we are more likely to delay it. The blank is after makes us feel, so we need an adjective describing an emotion. The clue words are threatens and self-worth. The clue words threatens and self-worth appear in paragraph B. Let's locate paragraph B and find the sentence containing these words. The original text says, if just thinking about the task threatens our sense of self-worth or makes us anxious. The word anxious is directly given in the original text, no need for synonym replacement. So the answer to question 18 is anxious. Let's look at question 19. The summary says that the brain areas responsible for identifying something and emotion regulation are different in chronic procrastinators. Please pause the video and try to fill in the blank yourself first. Before the blank is identifying, and after it is, and emotion regulation. So this should be a noun, and it is something that brain areas are responsible for identifying. Based on common sense, the brain is responsible for identifying dangers or threats. We locate paragraph B. The original text says research involving brain imaging has found that areas of the brain linked to detection of threats and emotion regulation. Here linked to corresponds to responsible for, and detection of corresponds to identifying. The original text directly gives the word threats, no replacement is needed. The identifying in the summary is a synonym for detection of in the original text, while threats is used directly. So the answer to question 19 is threats. Let's look at question 20. The statement says that tasks which are emotionally loaded or difficult, such as preparing for what, are prime candidates for procrastination. Please pause the video and think about the answer first. Pay attention to the clue words before the blank, preparing for, which means getting ready for. The blank needs a noun that represents the thing we prepare for. Let's go back to paragraph C. The beginning of the paragraph mentions emotionally loaded or difficult tasks, and then gives an example. The original text says such as preparing for exams. The word exams appears directly in the text. No replacement is needed. So the answer to question 20 is exams. Let's look at question 21. The statement says another group of people who tend to procrastinate are perfectionists. Please pause the video and try to fill in the blank yourself first. Looking at grammar, the blank is after are, so we need a plural noun. The statement says another group of people, so the answer should be a noun that describes a type of people. Let's locate paragraph C. It says another group of people who tend to procrastinate are perfectionists. Notice the word perfectionists, it directly matches another group of people in the question. The original text directly gives the word perfectionists, no replacement needed. Be careful not to write people with low self-esteem, that's from the previous sentence, not what we need here. So the answer to question 21 is perfectionists. Let's look at question 22. The statement says after procrastinating, people are left with a feeling of what? Before the blank, it says a sense of. So we need a noun that describes a feeling or emotion. Let's locate paragraph C. Look at this sentence, people tend to be left with a sense of. The original text directly gives the word guilt. This word is directly given in the text, so no synonym replacement is needed. So the answer to question 22 is guilt. Next, let's move on to the multiple choice double answers section for Q23-24. Now let's look at questions 23 and 24. This is a multiple choice question where you need to pick 2 answers from 5. The question asks, according to the text, in which areas do procrastinating employees perform worse? Options A to E are listed. I suggest you pause the video and try to pick the 2 correct answers. For this type of question, our strategy is to check each option one by one. We need to go back to the text, find the specific descriptions about procrastinating employees, and then decide if each option matches the information in the text. First, let's check option A, their salaries are lower. Paragraph D of the text clearly states that procrastinating employees earn less annually. This matches option A perfectly, so A is one of the correct answers. Now, option B, the quality of their work is inferior. Although the text mentions the negative effects of procrastination, it does not clearly state that their work quality is worse. The text does not support this claim, so B is incorrect. Next, option C, they don't keep their jobs for as long. Paragraph D of the text points out that procrastinating employees have lower job stability, meaning they don't stay in the same job for long. This matches option C, so C is the second correct answer. Then, option D, they don't enjoy their working lives as much. The text does not mention how much procrastinating employees enjoy their work life. There is no relevant information in the text, so D is incorrect. Finally, option E, they have poor relationships with colleagues. The text does not discuss the relationships between procrastinating employees and their colleagues. The text does not mention this point, so E is also incorrect. After checking each option one by one, we have eliminated options B, D, and E. Now only A and C remain, and both are clearly supported by the text. So, the correct answers for questions 23 and 24 are A and C. Procrastinating employees have lower salaries and lower job stability. Next, let's move on to the multiple choice double answers section for Q25-26. Now let's look at questions 25 and 26. This is a multiple choice question where you need to choose 2 answers from 5 options. The question is about advice on staying motivated. Please pause the video and try to choose your answers first. For this type of question, our strategy is to check each option one by one. Don't guess. You must go back to the text and find direct evidence. The correct answers will always have direct support from the text. Let's check option A, not judging ourselves harshly. In paragraph F, the author says we are often too hard on ourselves, which can reduce motivation. So this advice is reasonable. Now option B, setting ourselves manageable aims. The author does mention setting goals, but the focus is on being specific and clear, not on being manageable. So B does not match the text. Next, option C, rewarding ourselves for tasks achieved. The author does not mention anything about rewards in the text. This option is made up, so we can eliminate it. Now option D, prioritizing tasks according to their importance. The author does mention distinguishing between urgent and important tasks, but this is part of time management, not a suggestion for staying motivated. So D is incorrect. Finally, option E, avoiding things that stop us concentrating on our tasks. In paragraph F, the author clearly says we should resist distractions, like turning off phone notifications. So E is correct. After checking each option, we have eliminated B, C, and D. Options A and E both have direct support from the text. Let's confirm the first correct answer, A, not judging ourselves harshly. Now confirm the second correct answer, E, avoiding things that stop us concentrating. So the answers for questions 25 and 26 are A and E. Now let's review the 3 main skills from this lesson. Skill 1, opposite meaning or detail trick. The text says A, but the option says B, which is the opposite. So the answer to question 17 is laziness. Skill 2, wrong subject or made-up information. The text doesn't mention it, but the option adds it. So the answer to question 18 is anxious. Skill 3, synonym or main idea. The text uses different words but keeps the same meaning. So the answer to question 19 is threats. Remember, first find keywords in the question, then locate them in the text, and finally compare the options. Now let's review the key vocabulary from this lesson. Keywords: laziness, anxious, threats, perfectionists. This lesson is over. See you in the next lesson.